Welcome to another tutorial with me, guys. So in today's video we'll be learning how to do a drop down with just CSS and HTML, with just HTML and CSS. Normally this is usually done with HTML, CSS and JavaScript. So look at a drop down here. You see, whenever I hover on this product, I'm going to see a drop down of other menu. Okay, so we'll learn how to do this with just HTML and CSS. So guys, let's keep going. Let's get started. So let's start by creating our HTML page, our index.html. So inside this index.html, I'm going to generate the HTML. So inside this HTML, I'll just need to generate this HTML tags. So on this title, I'll just change it to drop down. So coming to the body now, I will have to put this in a session. So I'll just have to create a session. And then inside this session, I will need to use the nav bar since it's a navigation link. So I'll just need to use the nav bar since it's a navigation link. So the next thing now is we need to start creating our divs and classes. So I'll just have to create the first div class. I will name it navigation. Let's name it navigation. So inside this navigation, I will create another nav. I will name it logo. Okay. So inside this class, inside this div holding this logo, so I'll just have to put my image tag in it for the logo. So since we don't have any logo now, so let us just add name here. Let's put the alternative and just say logo. Maybe when we have logo, we can put it here. So outside this div holding this image tag, I will come down here and then I will create another div. Class. I'll just name that one navigation link. So I'll just say nav underscore links. So we're going to put our navigation bar, our navigation links inside here. So I'll just come down and I love using the list properties to the HTML list properties for my navigation links. So I'll just have to create the unordered list. Inside this unordered list, I'll have my list, my first list. Then I'll have to put an anchor tag. I'll just have to put A and click on enter to generate the anchor tag for me. So I will name this one home and then copy it. Now we don't have anything inside here because this is actually tutorial. If it was a real project, I'm going to put a link here that would have to redirect it anytime it is being clicked on. So I'll just duplicate this and then duplicate the third one. So under this now, I'll have to name this about. So this now, we are going to use this last list tag to handle the navigation. We'll use this last list tag to handle the navigation. So what I need to do is break it down, remove this. So inside, the reason why we are doing this now is because we want this last one, whatever thing is going to be inside this last one, to be able to handle this navigation, So I will just have to remove this anchor tag. We don't really need it on the third one, so we just need our list. Sorry. All right, so we just need our list like this to be able to handle that navigation, that drop down menu. So what I need to do next is I need to give this list now a class. This last one, I need to give it a class, and then I will name that class drop down. I will name it drop down. So inside this drop down class on this third list, I will create an anchor tag. So I will give it a class of drop down underscore button. So I will come here now and I will name it services. Okay, so I'll just name it services. So I will go down again, create another div. I will name this div, I will give it a class of drop down content. Drop down content. Don't mind my namings, okay? That's the way I name my tags and in fact this is just the way I name everything. So inside this drop down content, I'm going to have the anchor tags. Then I will name this one, let's say ICT courses. So this is the drop down now. This is the drop down. I'll copy this, come again, then duplicate it for the third time. Let's just say, okay, let's do 4. So this now becomes web development. Web development. Then let's name this. Let's just give it anything. Let's say graphics design. YouTube automations. So this is it now. We are done with the HTML aspect of this. So we are going to move over now to our CSS. Okay, we are done with the HTML aspect, so we are moving over now to our CSS. What we did was we created a session, added our navigation bar, then we started to add these things inside this navigation bar. So we added all these divs and every other thing inside this navigation bar. So what we need to do next is to create our CSS. I'll just say the CSS page. I'll just say style.css. All right, so we'll go back there to link it. If you watch, it is not yet linked, so I'll just say link. I'll put my style.css. Mind you that my VS Code is being set in the way that it helps me to complete whatever thing I start, especially when it has to do with HTML tags. Okay, I just need to put up the first one, click on enter, it generates the full tag for me. So what we need to do now is we move over now to our CSS. Let me see if I can divide this page. Okay, let this be the CSS. Then let me shift this like this. Then shift this like this. So this is it now. We're going to start with, first, we need to remove all the default margin and padding that comes with the page, the HTML page, or that comes with the browser, all the default margin and padding that comes with the browser. So I'll just have to say, put my asterisk, open a curly bracket. I will say padding 0, margin 0. So with this now, I've been able to remove whatever padding or margin that comes with this particular. First, let's view our site. We're making mistake. Let's view it. Okay, so look at it here now. Look at the way HTML rendered whatever thing we did. So we need to manipulate it now using CSS. So let's go back to our code. So we've been able to remove the default padding and margin. So the next thing now is let me see the code. Okay, let's start with the navigation. I'll just say nav. I'll have to target the nav. Mind you, is an element. This navigation is an element, so I'll just have to give it a background color. Let me give it black. Okay, let me give it a black background color. So look at it now. Mind you that we still have our write up here. So this is the background color black. What we need to do next is let's target the logo. No, let's target the navigation bar. So let's target the navigation. So what we need to do now is, since this navigation is the primary div that is handling everything, okay, so we need to flex it in the sense that this logo will be at the left hand side and this write up will be at the right hand side. So let's go there. That is what we need to do next. So I'll just say navigation. I will put my dot since it's a class. Open my current bracket. I will say display. Let us display it as flex. So we're going to make this training as easy as possible, okay, for even someone who is just starting. So I will say padding. First, let me show you what the flex property does. So can you see now, the moment we displayed it as flex, the logo and the menus, the logo and our menu had to be on the same line. Okay, this one has to be at the left hand side while this one is at the right hand side because we displayed it as flex. So we need to give it a padding to shift the logo from the menu. So let's give it a padding of let's say 2%, 2% up and down, and then 6% left and right. Okay, 2% up and down and 6% left and right. So let us see. So can you see now? So this logo has shifted from here and this one is already taking a 6%. So what we need to do next is let's justify the content. Let's say justify content. Uh, justify content. Let's use space around, or let's just say let's use space around. So can you see now? Or let's use space between. Whichever one you want to use, you can use space around or space between. If we use space between, it will have to push it to the extreme. Look at it. It had to push it to the extreme, push this one to the extreme, maintaining the padding that was given to it earlier. So what we need to do next is, since we added this in flex, let's just do flex wrap. Let's wrap it. Okay, so that even when other code breaks, it will still have to be mobile friendly. Okay, still have to be mobile friendly. So that is all for that. So let's come over now to the logo. I might just say navigation dot logo, but let's just call this class only. Okay, let me just call this class only, since we don't have any other thing on this page. It's just, so I'll just say width. I will say 150 pixel. That is the size of the logo, but it's obvious that we don't have any logo now and we don't have any plan to put any logo there yet. So the next thing I'm going to do now is to target this on ordered list. Okay, I need to target this on ordered list. So I'll just say UL. So inside this UL now, first let's change the color. Let's change the color of this so that we can see whatever thing we are doing. Let's change the color of this so that we can see whatever thing we are doing. So what we need to do is we need to target where these things are. So what we need to do is, first we've targeted this, so we need to target this list and this anchor tag. So I'll just say LI, and then give it a color of white. Okay, so we are done with this particular one now. So let's go back now. Let's target only this. UL. So inside this now, we have to do something like removing any list property. So I'll just say list style none. In case if there's any list property there, let's remove it. So the next thing now is we also target the ULLI property. So inside this ULLI, I'll just say display it as an inline. Okay, so what this will do now is when I say display it as an inline, all this will have to be on a straight line. Okay, it will have to be on a straight line. So look at it now. I'll say display inline. Did you see it? So it has to be on a straight line. I will have to space it. I will give it a padding of let's say 1 rem. Okay, this is not bad. This is not bad. So what we need to do next is what I'm supposed to target next. Okay, now let's finish what we have with this particular anchor tag. Let's finish with whatever we have with this particular anchor tag. So what I need to do is we've given it a color. So let's give it a font size. Let's give it a font size of 1.2 rem. Then let us remove all the text decoration. This text decoration, you see all this underline. So let's remove it. Let's say text decoration none. Let it not be decorated. So let's check. You see the lines are gone. So what we need to do next is we need to change it from this small letter to, let's say, initial capital or uppercase. So I'll just say text transform. Let's use capitalize. Text transform. Okay, capitalize. So we move down now to the drop down content. We need to target this drop down content. Okay, let's target this drop down content. Let's copy this, target the drop down content. So on this drop down content, first, let's give it a background color. Let's give it a background color. Let's say white, although it's not going to be white. So let's just bring it down. Okay. All right. So this is better. Or let's still increase it. Let it be more dark. All right. So we've given it a background color. Secondly, let us give it a padding of 2%. Let's give it a position absolute. Let's give it an absolute position, and then we give it a mini width of 100 pixel, and then that's all for now. So let us see what we've done. Okay, look at it here. Okay, let's reduce this mini width to 70 and see what it will become. Okay, so we need to target these ones now, this anchor tag. Next thing now is to target the anchor tag. So I'll just copy this, target the anchor tag. So on this anchor tag now, first we need to display it as block. Let's display this as block. Okay, if we display it as block, then we align the text to left. Then we do a Z index. Z index will make it so that it will be on top even when you are scrolling down. Okay, it will be on top of this and be on top of the banner that will be placed here. Although we are not going to place any banner in this tutorial, but this Z index we have to put it on top of or everything here. So I'll just do Z index, Z index 1, and then I will do padding of 12 pixel up and down, and then 16 pixel left and right. Sorry. So this is it now. So this is what we've been able to achieve. So first all right, so this is what we've been able to achieve, but first let's reduce the size of this write-up so it won't be of the same size with this. So I'll just come here, I will say font size 0.7 rem. I think it's too small. Let's say 0.9. Okay, let us make it 1. Let's see the way it will be. This seems too big. Let's say that's 0.9. 0.9 is okay. So I'll just come here now. I will say right. Let me give it 30 pixel. Okay. So this is it now. So what do I need to do now? This is the logic behind this drop down. Now, whenever I hover on this now, that whenever I hover on this services, let it display this. Okay, if you watch now, you see that this thing now is static here, but I want to, once I hover on this, let it display this particular thing. So what do I need to do? First, I will come here now and I will say display none. Okay, I will say display none. Have you seen it that I've removed everything that has to do with what we just did now? So I want it so that whenever I hover on this, it will have to give me that drop down. So I'll just go back now and I will say I'll do a drop down content. Let's say, let me do it. Drop down content, hover. No. Okay. So I'll just say drop down content, hover. Okay. Let me push this back. Hover. I will have to first do a drop down content. I will have to first add hover to this, to all this. So I'll just say, let me give it a background color. Let me give it a background color of, so that once you hover on it, you are going to get a background. Okay, let's just give it a color that will have to come out well. So let's give it black. I will do the second hover, which will handle this. Okay, remember that the first hover now cannot handle it, so we need to do the second hover that can handle this particular thing. Be very careful with this particular session because this session has to do with everything that we have been doing. So this is how to do it now. I'll just say drop down. This drop down, remember that this drop down, this class is the one. Let me shift this. Remember that this class called dropdown is the one that is holding everything that has to do with this. Okay, it's the one that is holding everything that has to do with this. So because of that, I will have to say drop down. Let me copy this. That will be the primary this thing. So I'll say drop down, hover. Hover. If I say drop down, hover, I will have to put this drop down content. Mind you that this drop down content is what I want it to appear whenever I hover on this particular services. So once I hover on that particular service, I want this drop down content to appear. This drop down content here, whatever thing we styled here should appear. That is what it simply means. So I'll put it here, then open my current brackets. I will say display block. Okay, I'll say display block. So if I hover on this now, you can see that once I hover on this drop down appears. So once I hover on it, this drop down appears. You can decide to add other styling, make it look more beautiful and good. But for this practice purposes, this is how to do a drop down with CSS and HTML. So guys, see you in our next video.